What I find interesting is that in the West, the most common thing I hear from the majority is what I teach requires too much work. It requires daily practice to build good, strong chi. It requires spending time looking at books, challenging oneself. If an athlete was to only play on the pitch, they'd pull all their muscles. They've got to train, they've got to stretch before, they've got to stretch afterwards. Because all of this happens that's more important than what happens on the pitch. And today's Chinese medicine practitioner, most of them, they go home. But there isn't that stretching of themselves either side to take them. So the most common thing I hear in the West is what I teach is too much work. And then we have some people who are very excited about that. And then whether they have the commitment to stay at it for years is something else. What I see in China, however, is they're looking for magic. They think that, oh, the old doctors knew something or they did a trick. And the hardest thing for me to get across to those people is there never has been a trick. And the biggest secret in Chinese medicine is there is no secret. And there's a very famous story of a Taiji practitioner in the Chen family. And he was very, 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 very good, and his children were okay, and his students were okay, but none of them were his level. And he finally got very sick, and he was bedridden, and everyone was gathered around hoping for that secret, right? Because he must know something, that he's so much better than everyone else. It's so obvious. And then he sat in his bed, and he said, my oldest son, come. He said, get calligraphy brush, right? He said, got the brush, give me your hand. And he wrote the secret on his son's hand. And his son looked at it and went, wash your hand. Within 3 years, suddenly his son, was like his father, great. Years went by and people said, what did he tell you? What is the secret? And finally, as he was old, he said, I'll tell you the secret. My father wrote on my hand, lian, practice. That's it. And that is the biggest difference now, is that the people in China, that they think that there's like if I only knew how to redirect my qi to my dantian or something else, something's going to happen. You have to practice. In the West, people aren't willing to put in that practice. And it's not that they're lazy, just their lives are set up differently. They have their children and they go to this practice and they sing in a choir and they have all these hobbies. And so where's the time going to come? And in the East, they think that there is a trick, a magic, a something that if they could just get that one thing. And there isn't. You just have to practice. And Dr. Xie would when always asked, he'd say, listen, this hurt when I was 20. It hurt when I was 40. I practice, I'm 80, it still hurts. If you can show me something that works better than what I do and doesn't hurt, I'll switch tomorrow. I have no loyalties to my lineage. But if it doesn't work as well, I'm going to stick with what I have. But remember, it hurts. Got to get up. My alarm goes off at 4:30 every day. It hurts. I'd like to stay in bed. Right now we are the end of June. It's hot. Come 4:30 in the morning, it's cool. It's the best sleeping weather. And it's like, oh, meh, 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 meh. And I got to get up. And I don't have to get up. But if I plan to be good at what I do, I have to make those hours appear. And I will say, Dr. Xie said it very well. He said, it is better to think about the good practice you've already had today than the one you're planning to have later. And if just getting that practice done out of the way before the days get going, then you can't get sidetracked. And that's really the difference. Is, let's say it's a question of hours. If I practice 2 hours a day, and someone else practices 3 hours a week at class, the hours after a while don't add up. It's the expression in Chinese is 久而久之久之道. A long time after a long time, that's when you know. So in the beginning, it's not that different, and then all of a sudden, it just takes practice. There are